Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program in Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of this week. I'm Gülər Hətamova. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. European Council chief French, Azerbaijani, Armenian leaders hold four-way video call on progress in relations. 8th ministerial meeting of 1,000 guest Carter Advisory Council kicked off in Baku. On February 4th, on the initiative of French President Emmanuel Macron, a meeting via video conference with the participation of President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham, President Emmanuel Macron, and the capacity of Presidents of France, of the European Union, President of the Council of the European Union, Charles Michel, and Prime Minister of Armenia, Nikol Pashinyan, took place.
During the meeting, the importance of the joint meeting held on December 14, 2021 in Brussels on the initiative of President Charles Michel with the participation of President of the Republic of Azerbaijan Ilham and Prime Minister of Armenia Nikol Pashinyan was stressed. Then, as a continuation of the Brussels peace agenda, detailed discussions were held on the normalization of Armenian-Azerbaijani relations. In this regard, in accordance with the predetermined agenda of the event, the sides exchanged views on various aspects of relations between the two countries, including humanitarian issues, confidence building, landmass problems faced by Azerbaijan, opening of communications, delimitation and demarcation of borders, and commencement of talks on the peace agreement. President Ilham Aliyev reiterated Azerbaijan's position on the issues under discussion. During the discussions, President Ilham Aliyev paid special attention to determining the fate of those missing during the First Karabakh War, determination of the location of mass graves, increasing international support for Azerbaijan in demining the liberated territories, and opening a transport corridor by rail and road. The head of state highlighted that a total of 3,890 Azerbaijani citizens, including 71 children, 267 women, and 326 elderly people went missing during the First Karabakh War. President Ilham Aliyev noted that since the end of the Patriotic War, 36 Azerbaijani citizens had been killed and 165 received injuries in mine explosions. The issue of UNESCO's mission to Azerbaijan and Armenia was also discussed at the meeting, and it was agreed to send the mission to both countries.
A youth forum dedicated to the 25th anniversary of the Day of Azerbaijani Youth was held on February 2nd. President Ilham Aliyev attended the forum.
Azərbaycan Respublikasının Prezidenti Cənab İlham Əliyev.
Sabahınız xeyir olsun. Əyləş.
Noting that Azerbaijan is celebrating Youth Day today, President Ilham Aliyev congratulated everyone on the significant date, stressing that 25 years ago, by the executive order of the nationwide leader Heydar Aliyev, Youth Day was established in Azerbaijan. The head of state noted that since then, we have been celebrating this day on February 2nd. A year before, on the initiative of Heydar Aliyev, the first youth forum was organized in Azerbaijan. Since then, youth policy has always been among the priorities of the state. Over the years, one generation has changed, said President Ilham Aliyev, noting that the young people sitting in this hall today were either not yet born or were still babies at that time. The generation has changed, Azerbaijan has changed, the head of state stressed. If you look at the realities of Azerbaijan at that time, the situation was very difficult, said President Ilham Aliyev, noting that our independence was only 6 years old. Azerbaijan was just beginning its independent life. The country faced very big, serious and fundamental problems. Only 3 years passed since the First Karabakh War, the head of state noted, stressing that there were great hopes that the international community and mediators would quickly resolve the Karabakh issue and restore justice. There were such hopes, but the situation in all other areas was very difficult. You, young people, of course, have not seen those years, but this is our history, and future generations should know and remember history, because it is precisely by making the right analysis and drawing lessons from history that we can confidently move forward, emphasized President Ilham Aliyev, and noted that at that time Azerbaijan had not yet fully established itself on the world stage. The realities of Azerbaijan, one might say, were almost unknown to the world community. The Armenian lobbying organizations that acted against us at that time and to this day have been spreading false and distorted information about Azerbaijan. At that time, of course, one of the most important issues was to take a worthy place in the international arena, the head of state stressed. Touching on the economic situation of that period, President Ilham Aliyev said that at that time the concept of economy did not exist at all, because after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the principles of market economy were not fully established in Azerbaijan, and private entrepreneurship was at a very low level, the head of state noted. State structures had not yet mastered the new management methods. The economic downturn was widespread and our economic future was in question. Oil and gas contracts have just been signed. In 1994, the contract of the century was signed in this hall, which gave all of us great hopes, said President Ilham Aliyev, underlining that at that time, of course, it was impossible to predict the implementation of this project. There were hopes, but there was no certainty. The signing of the contract on the Shah Deniz gas field in 1996 gave additional hope, but when the U-Stay was established 25 years ago, of course, no one could have imagined how much this project would benefit our country, the head of state stressed. Hundreds of thousands of internally displaced people lived in difficult conditions. People expelled from their homes lived in tents, under wagons, in unsuitable buildings. It was a picture of that time, said President Ilham Aliyev, emphasizing that, moreover, a regular army was not created and its absence led to defeat in the First Karabakh War. Along with all other external factors, along with the large foreign financial and military support provided to Armenia, it must be underlined that at that time there was no regular army in Azerbaijan. The head of state stressed, noting that in such a situation, Heydar Aliyev established U-Stay. President Ilham Aliyev recalled how then some people, that is those who were in the government, said that now this is not the main issue, there are other important issues facing the country that need to be addressed. However, as always, the nationwide leader, having shown far-sightedness, turned specifically to the youth, invited them, gave his recommendations and practical steps were taken to organize and train them for further development of the youth, said the head of state, emphasizing how right Heydar Aliyev was. Because today, young people who make up a large part of our society play a very important role in the life of our country. The initiatives of young people and their work are visible everywhere today, and of course raising a new generation in the spirit of patriotism and loyalty to the state is an important part of Heydar Aliyev's merits, said the head of state, and stressed that today Azerbaijan was looking forward with confidence. The main challenges facing the country, the Karabakh issue, have been resolved. We are confident in other areas as well, the head of state said, noting that it would take him several hours to list all the main events of recent years. President Ilham Aliyev said that the opportunities for today's youth are wider and they should take advantage of them. We live in a free country, we live in a stable country, we live in a confident country. We are rightfully proud to be citizens of Azerbaijan, and young people should be active both in order to correctly determine their future life and in order to bring maximum benefit to the state, said President Ilham Aliyev. Speaking of this, I convey my heartfelt wishes to the Azerbaijani youth and also thank them because in many cases, especially in the patriotic war, the role of youth was decisive and we are rightfully proud of our youth, emphasized the head of state, and once again congratulated everyone with this event. Then the forum continued its work with discussions.
On February 4th, the 8th ministerial meeting of the Southern Gas Corridor Advisory Council was held at Gülistan Palace, Baku. President İlham Aliyev attended the meeting.
Azərbaycan Respublikasının Prezidenti Cənab İlham Əliyev, the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Mr. İlham Aliyev.
Welcoming the participants of the meeting, Minister of Energy of Azerbaijan, Parviz Shahbazov, gave the floor to President Ilham Aliyev. The head of state welcomed the participants of the 8th ministerial meeting within the framework of the Southern Gas Corridor Advisory Council, expressed appreciation for the decision to attend the event in person despite some concerns related to the COVID. Recalling that last year's meeting was held in the format of a video conference, President Ilham Aliyev said the restored traditional format creates better opportunities not only to address important issues, but at the same time to have bilateral and multilateral contacts. Every advisory council meeting was marked with some achievements. Every year we report about some achievements. We are very happy and we can congratulate ourselves that this time we can report about the success of the completion of the Southern Gas Corridor project. The last day of 2020, 31 December, was the day, by the way. It's a day of the solidarity of Azerbaijanis of the world, and we're very glad that this very important day where Azerbaijan is very reported about the completion of the Southern Gas Corridor, its last point-to-tap project, said the head of state, and expressed gratitude to all the participants of the project, and added that the European Commission and Azerbaijan as co-organizers and coordinators played a very important role in the implementation of the project.
I think the coordination on the national level helped us to implement this huge project, one of the largest projects of the 21st century, Southern Gas Corridor, which is worth $33 billion, stressed President Ilham Aliyev, and said during the session participants will discuss traditional areas of cooperation, future plans, issues related to renewable sources of energy, and Azerbaijan actually is doing a lot with respect to its green energy policy. Emphasizing the growing demand for gas from new sources, the head of state provided specific figures related to the functioning of the Southern Gas Corridor. Said Azerbaijani gas is needed for new markets in our country is already because Azerbaijan has always been a reliable supply of energy resources to international market. The head of state also spoke about the process of restoration and reconstruction in the Azerbaijani territories liberated from occupation, about plans to return former refugees to the land this year. Therefore, additional gas for their consumption will be needed. Saying Azerbaijan is one of few countries of the world which exports crude oil, natural gas, petrochemicals, oil products, and electric energy, President Ilham Aliyev stressed the large investment in electric infrastructure, and based on Davos World Economic Forum assessment, the accessibility to energy in Azerbaijan is number 2 in the world. The head of state spoke about the need in our electric energy for the regional markets and about its export to 4 neighboring countries, Turkey, Russia, Georgia, and Iran. Added that our green energy strategy is now in the final stage of not only assessment but also planning. We have a special program for liberated territories. Our Minister of Energy, together with leading companies, international companies, already prepared a conceptual outlook for a green energy zone in Karabakh and Eastern Zangezur. We already made the international assessment of the potential of renewable sources in Karabakh and Eastern Zangezur, and preliminary figures are very promising. By the way, I also would like to inform you that our strategic partner in oil and gas, BP, shows big interest in working on the liberated territories, particularly in the district of Jabrayil. We are already in the phase of negotiations with BP on the construction of the renewable source of energy there, more than 200 megawatts. The head of state also dwelt on the special program of assessment of the technical potential of the Caspian Sea. The Southern Gas Corridor is done, but our work continues. We need to continue to work as one team, said President Ilham Aliyev, and once again expressed satisfaction with the growth in the number of participants in the event, and stressed the importance of issues related to energy security and energy diversification. The energy policy which we have goes beyond the issues of energy diversification and energy security, because it creates new links between the countries, and it helps the development of relationship, and it helps to increase the level of mutual trust between all the countries involved in this process. So there are so many multiple positive results after what we have been doing, said the head of state, and wished the Advisory Council meeting success. Then European Commissioner for Energy Kadri Simpson addressed the event. She expressed gratitude to the organizers of the event, noted that the large number of participants is sufficient proof of how important the Southern Gas Corridor is for the European Union and for the region, thanked Azerbaijan for the efforts in ramping up the gas supplies traveling to the European Union via the Southern Gas Corridor. This is a delicate moment in terms of the security of our gas supply, and Azerbaijan is a reliable and trusted partner for the European Union, said Kadri Simpson. Saying the agenda reflects well the challenges and opportunities ahead of us, the guest dwelled on specific indicators of the functioning of the Southern Gas Corridor, spoke about the ongoing work in the European energy market, and said that renewable energy sources form the basis of Europe's long-term plans will lead to a carbon-free future. There are many reasons for a long-term strategic cooperation on energy with Azerbaijan and through the Southern Gas Corridor. Therefore, it's very appropriate that today we exchange on how our cooperation can shape up in the short but also in long time period. And in the future, our Advisory Council can become a useful platform for exchanging on our common clean energy challenges, Kadri Simpson underscored. The meeting continued with panel sessions.
President Ilham Aliyev received a delegation led by European Commissioner for Energy Kadri Simpson on February 4th.
President Ilham Aliyev thanked EU Commissioner for Energy Kadri Simpson for her participation and valuable speech at the 8th Ministerial Meeting of the Southern Gas Corridor Advisory Council. President Ilham Aliyev noted that more than 10 years had passed since the signing of a joint statement on energy cooperation with the European Union. President noted that the cooperation between the European Union and Azerbaijan in this field had entered a new stage and was continuing within the framework of the Southern Gas Corridor. President Ilham Aliyev said the project had been successfully completed in an atmosphere of joint cooperation and coordination. The head of state underlined the importance of the discussions held within the Southern Gas Corridor Advisory Council in terms of discussing new ideas and plans for cooperation in the field of energy on a bilateral and multilateral basis. President Ilham Aliyev noted that the meeting coincided with the transition to a new green energy strategy in the European Union and Azerbaijan in the year that has passed since the supply of gas to the European Union through the Southern Gas Corridor, as well as price changes in the world gas market and other tendencies. The other state hailed the successful implementation of negotiations on a new agreement between the EU and Azerbaijan and expressed his hope that these negotiations would be completed soon. European Commissioner for Energy, Kadri Simpson, thanked President Ilham Aliyev for hosting the 8th ministerial meeting of the Southern Gas Corridor Advisory Council. Noting the role of the Southern Gas Corridor in the energy security of the European Union, Kadri Simpson said that the European Union attaches great importance to the diversification of energy supplies, emphasizing the importance of the Southern Gas Corridor in this regard. The sides exchanged views on the development of cooperation between the European Union and Azerbaijan in the field of energy, including green energy. The head of state noted that Azerbaijan is developing the concept of alternative and renewable energy and attracts foreign investors to this field in the country.
That was all for this week. Thank you for watching us and see you next Sunday.